What is up, all of you beautiful people, shredders across America, holding hands? This is Q&A number 2. And just like I say in every Q&A, that whole one I put out, the whole back catalog of one Q&A I put out. Please leave your questions in the comments below. So for the next Q&A, I'll answer those questions. Right now the Q&A, we're doing this monthly. This is October's Q&A. So let's answer some questions. Okay, this one is by CR Guitar. He has an awesome channel. Go check it out. It's all about video game covers, and he does an extremely good job with all of the covers he does. I'm really jealous of him. I want to make a video like that. But he says, I've been lusting over the Line 6 Helix. Is it good for recording metal, and is it worth the exorbitant price? Will it chug? I've never played the Line 6 Helix, but I like to bank on my past experiences with Line 6 products, and I've had no problem with Line 6 products. I know they don't have the best rep out there, but from my experience, they've all been pretty dang good for what they are. I looked a bit more into the Line 6 Helix product line, and they all sound really good. And recording wise, they seem to really have done it well. The thing that I like about the Helix is that you can record a dry signal as well as a wet signal at the same time, and then reamp your signal later on if you're not happy with the signal. When it comes to recording, I like to record DI so that I can reamp the guitar any way I want later on when I go to mix and master it. It really helps out a lot later on, because I've recorded songs where I didn't have that option to do it, and it was a definite commitment. You had to make sure you had your stuff together. And since I've been able to reamp later on, my songs have sounded way better than they did in the past. And I think that's a big thing. In terms of the Helix prices, I looked at the absolute cheapest one they had, which was the Helix Stomp. And there's a video out there by Gear Gods about using it as an interface. I'll link it on this video right here. And you can see that he still can record the DI as well as reamp it later on. And I think that ability is really worth having. It goes around $600 for the Stomp, which is, I think, the cheapest one they have. And the really expensive ones, on the other hand, between $1,000 and $2,000. I still think those are probably worth the money. Just the way the modeling is, and just the way they have everything set up with their software. From an outsider's perspective, I think it's worth the money. Coming back to what I do though, I think you should really go into adventuring with just recording DI through your DAW, and then trying a lot of these free VSTs out first, like these virtual amps. I like to use Easy Mix for a lot of my reamping, because it just sounds really freaking good after you reamp it. You should check that out. It's Tune Tracks. But even the neural stuff is extremely good too. I've been tempted to get it a couple times. Okay, the next question is by Aldo A. Fierro. Hopefully I got your name right. If I didn't, let me know. I met Aldo on the Old England Discord forum, and he's a very knowledgeable guy when it comes to recordings. He definitely knows his stuff, and he has a cool symphonic metal project going on that's really cool, and it sounds awesome. Very epic. But he says, hey Justin. I don't know who Justin is, but I'll go with it. Today my name's Justin. I know you're a big fan of tellies. I'm not, by the way. But how about headless guitars? Will that be still a thing in years to come? Keep up with the channel. Thanks. Okay. Thank you for the support. And when it comes to headless guitars, I always see them as a very niche thing. They came out back in the 80s with Steinberger, and they're basically back now with Strandberg. Who knows what kind of Berg guitar will come out in 20 more years. But I really like what Steinberger and Strandberg have done technology-wise with their guitars, and I think they're really advanced. If you want the most advanced guitar, definitely go with a Strandberg. If you want that ergonomic shape, if you want easy intonation, if you want the fan frets and all of that jazz, I think that's definitely a great thing. It's cool to see guitar being pushed. The thing that doesn't ever hook with the headless guitars is the aesthetics. When it comes to hitting a mainstream audience, I think aesthetics are very paramount, and I think that's why Fender and Gibson have stuck around so long. Like, their guitars are really good, but the thing that really makes them what they are really comes down to the aesthetics. As much as people don't like to think that they're very shallow, aesthetics are very important when it comes to buying a guitar. You need to be able to enjoy looking at it. I don't think headless guitars will ever become very mainstream. It's a bit too odd looking. It looks like something that a scientist would make in his freaking Frankenstein factory. But I think if somebody came along, say any guitar company that does conventional guitars, would come along and just take the technology that Strandberg and even Steinberger have had in the past, and they made some hybrid between the old school, well, not even old school, but just a classic guitar, even if we're talking about the pointy guitars, and then used that technology and made a mashup and really had some creativity to really fill in the gaps, say like the tuners. Like, the tuners won't be a thing anymore, but you could figure out a way to make a tuner-shaped thing on the headstock that would serve a purpose, maybe just aesthetic, maybe lights or something. Just something decent. You could even turn it into a tuner or something. Any kind of mashup, a hybrid of both the aesthetic guitars and the Strandberg guitars, and I think that would be extremely desirable product in my opinion. So I don't think they're going to be lasting forever. It's always going to be a very niche thing. Okay, so this one is by Desert Rat Workshop. So where's your mask? Oh, I completely forgot about my mask. I forgot it was Halloween time. I should be putting on my cool Zorro mask right here. Yeah. Okay, this isn't a question, but I'm going to turn it into a question. This one's by the DD Files. He's got a cool YouTube channel going on as well. I think about buying the Jim Root Stratocaster. Great video. Have a wonderful day. I just want to talk about the Jim Root Stratocaster. The Stratocaster is really cool looking. I've been tempted to buy it a couple times. The only thing that's really keeping me away from this the Jim Root Stratocaster is the price. I don't think I've ever bought a guitar as expensive as the Jim Root Stratocaster yet. The most expensive guitars I've ever had in my life have been this Jim Root guitar, which is roughly around $1,000, and this old Paul Gilbert guitar I used to have back in the day. I think it was PG-13, or it was something like that. It was a great guitar as well. But I bought that around $1,200, and the Jim Root's somewhere, it's like $200, maybe $300 more than that. It's just really hard for me to be like, yeah, I'm gonna buy this guitar. Plus, on top of that, when it comes to Strats, I'm really into just modding the crap out of them, and I really like having a trem on the Strat as well. And so I have a project going on right now where I'm trying to redo my old Stratocaster, my gloss black Stratocaster. Let me get out. Okay, yeah, I'm working on this baby right now. I'm trying to make it just sexier in general. It's very howdy-doody, like everything's kind of janky on it. There's, like, I know that has a certain charm to it, and I really like that kind of charm to it, but I'm just trying to make it look more beautiful, I guess. I want to buy a new pick guard for this, and I have a Blade Runner bridge, which is extremely awesome. It's one of the best trims ever created that I'm going to put down here. I used to have a Floyd Rose 2 on here, which it was good for a while, but if you buy a Floyd Rose, you definitely want to get one that's made out of real steel. Whenever you use it too long with a softer metal, the blades will go out, and you may as well just chuck it in the trash because it's never going to stay in tune and return at the 0 point again. So I bought the Blade Runner for this because it's awesome. I'm basically going to throw a new pickguard on here, throw a 3-way switch on here, get rid of this kill switch that doesn't really work. It said it would work, but it doesn't work as well. I'm going to get rid of this thing. This is the knob that boosts up the Seymour Duncan Blackout bridge I have right here. It boosts it by 10 decibels. I think it's a bit too overkill. Just without it, it sounds amazing. If you want to hear those, check out the Blackouts Brutal video. And I have my knob down here because it's out of the way, which I really like. And on the telly, it's always in the way. Luckily, rubber washer saved my life when it came to that. And I don't really have a huge problem with that anymore. On the back here, I'd like to get rid of this bland one here and put a Fender one on there and fix this somehow. Like, I got battery hanging out here and make this look more pro, I guess. But like, this guitar has been with me for a while and I really like it. I replaced the neck here with a official Fender neck. And the thing I like about this is that I found out over a while that I kind of like the 9-inch necks better because I don't have huge hands. My hands are kind of dinky, and so I'd like to get this all going again, put this in E standard, and just have a nice shred Stratocaster again. I'm also changing all the hardware black so it's more metal. You can see I changed the locking tuners to the black ones. And eventually I'm going to change this bad boy to black as well. And we're going to have a nice, sick, freaking black Stratocaster. Eventually I want to do, if this turns out really well, I want to buy a white Stratocaster as well. Probably a player Stratocaster because you can buy cheap and then mod the crap out of it and not feel guilty about it. And just make one very similar to the way this is, but flip-flop the colors, white with black. Okay, lastly we have Samuel Yu. He said, who's the better guitarist, Bill or Ted? Ah, man, I mean, it's such a hard question. I don't know. Bill or Ted? Bill or Ted? I mean, they are most excellent, both of them, as guitarists. But Bill or Ted? I know they were trying to get Eddie Van Halen in the band, but that can no longer happen. So they're definitely going to have to rely on their own strengths now. Bill or Ted? I can't even rely on Rufus anymore. He's gone.